memorize the lyrics to the songs, and then the next day when he would come home, because he used to work at Rams, those times Rams used to be existed in Cahill,
Yeah.
and then we would rap the lyrics to him.
Oh boy.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy DJ Stov. The E at the end is a 3. And welcome to yet another official episode of Sitting Down with Stov. It's the show where we want to know a little bit more about our St. Martin artists, DJs, producers, musicians, anybody in the musical scene, really. And we take a deep dive into their musical careers. Now, this time around, yours truly is spending his vacation in the Netherlands. But the grind continues, ladies and gentlemen, because we're committed to provide an episode to you every week. We've opted for a Zoom session this time around. Now, since I'm in the Netherlands, we decided to get our very first St. Martin artist on the show. You got to consider this guy as an OG of the generation of artists I know. He's a wizard on stage, and he's made quite the scene in his performances on The Voice of Holland, represented St. Martin like no one has ever done before. Now, besides making a name for himself, he has never shied away from shining a light on others with his movement, Hottest on the Rock, which displays other MCs and their talent on St. Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Dr. Rum.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's good with you, man? Thank you so much for doing it.
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be on your show, man, Stov. It's a pleasure to be sitting down with Stov.
All right, sweet. So I want to begin with, where did your love of music making and performing come from?
I don't know. I can't really tell you the moment I decided to become an artist. You know, I could tell you like kind of my grandmom used to play the organ in the church.
Right.
My grandfather used to play the guitar. Growing up, my mom and her 7 sisters, they always used to be singing. So I've always been exposed to music. Where it started for me, I guess it was for me and my brother, my older cousin. Shout out to Sigma. Not Sigma Defense, but Sigma, my cousin.
Okay.
Shout out to him. My aunt used to watch us after school. So we used to go to my aunt's house, and that's her son. So Shout out to Mama Ticia one time.
Word up,
So
shout out.
we used to go to her house, and my cousin used to be watching, I think at that time it was MTV. I didn't think BT used to exist in that time. I'm talking about like 1993, 1994. MTV, and those were the times where like songs would keep playing over and over and over the whole day. So my cousin would tell me and my brother, like, you see this song is your song. You need to remember that song, and learn to rap that song and stuff like that.
Okay.
And me and my brother would sit in front of the TV and just memorize the lyrics to the songs. And then the next day when he would come home, because he used to work at Rams, those times Rams used to be existed in Cahill.
Yeah.
And then we would rap the lyrics to him, So at that point, while watching that, I used to kind of envision myself being on TV performing, and say like, I would like to do that, and I would like to. So I always had this character what was never really shy, I was always like the outgoing person. I would never be afraid to go on stage and stuff like that. So just being like in kindergarten, I would always get like the star roles when we would have to do like plays, or when we would have to do dances. I wouldn't be afraid or shy to go up and do it. So I always would get those opportunities, And I remember one of the first times I was on stage, I actually forgot the words that I had to sing,
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot the words to sing, and I made a vow to myself that that would never ever happen again. So that was kind of like the thing that propelled me to the next level, that I always wanted to do better than the best on stage,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like in a little nutshell as to where it all came from,
A little background story, right. Now, how did you come up with the name Dr. Rum? Where did that come from?
Okay, so that's a long story, but I'll put it in a nutshell also,
All right,
because we
good.
sitting on with Stove, so I gotta give y'all the exclusive. You know what I mean?
Word up.
Okay, so it actually started as like a trip. So my brother and my cousin used to trip on me. From a long story, when I was small, my uncle we was on the beach, and he was like drinking some Bacardi and Coke, I think it was. Well, not my uncle, my aunt's husband, her ex-husband.
Mhm.
And I was a little bit rude when I was small, you know, so I would curse him with bad words. And he finished drank the drink, and he threw the ice water on me, but it still kind of smelled on it, you know. But
Right.
we was at the beach, so I could have just easily go into the water and just wash it off, you know. So then my brother and my cousin was like, "Oh, you smell like rum, you smell like rum," and I would be crying. And I remember around that summer, we went to a vacation Bible school. So then the other kids were asking like, "What is his name?" And then my cousin and my brother would tell them, "Yeah, his name is Rum. His name is Rum," you know,
Yeah.
just to kind of like tease me, you know. And then eventually, you know, we've been doing music for a long time. So I came to a realization. I was thinking like, okay, how can I take this bad situation? Because I think that's very important in life, you know. And without even know it, unconsciously, I did that from small, you know. I just took a bad situation and tried to make it to a good situation. So I just analyzed, not really analyzed, but I just remembered like St. Martin, our only export product is guava berry rum. You know, when you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, or you just think on the Caribbean, we have duty-free liquor, stuff like that. So when you think on St. Martin, you think on rum, you think on alcohol. So I was like, yo, I want to be a product of my alcohol. I want to be a product of my island.
Yeah.
I want to be a product of my island, but I don't want to be a guava berry rum, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can call myself Rum, you know? And then at the after like later on, I started to like produce, and I write my own lyrics, and I vocal produce, and I record, and you know, I do different stuff when it comes to music. So, and I'm also a fan of Dr. Dre, you know. So I was like, yo, I'm a doctor myself, you know, the way how I operate on music. I feel like I'm a doctor, you know. So I just took those two elements and just put them together. So most of the time when people ask me like, why the name Dr. Rum, I say I'm a product of my island, you know, just another product.
Word up. Now, was Dr. Rum the first name that you decided on, or?
Yeah, it was always Dr. Rum ever since I was, what was I? I think I was about 10 years old, 9 years old, I think, about 10, I would think. That's where the name Dr. Rum came from, and it just stick, you know. And I didn't want anybody's perspective to kind of deviate me on the fact of just being a product of my island, you know.
Right.
That's a clear indication as you take something bad and you make it good, you know.
Exactly. Now, well, the way I got DJ Stov was also through a roast, actually coincidentally, but I mean, that's another story. Bro, you just mentioned Dr. Dre, but who are some of your other big influences when creating the artistry of Dr. Rum?
What most people wouldn't really know is that I started by singing. I didn't start as a rapper. I started as a singer. My first ever trophy, I think I got it in 1994. I still have that trophy home. Was for singing, you know. So I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, R. Kelly. You know, regardless to what people say about him, I'm a fan of his music. Usher. I'm a fan of like Tyrese, but I'm a big fan of Tupac. I'm a big fan of Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Who else? I'm really like the singing type. Like Chris Brown, I feel like Chris Brown is our generation Michael Jackson. Yeah. You know, I feel like when if you would ask me like who I can compare myself to, I think kind of like a Chris Brown. I can't dance like him, but I'm very talented like him. Chris Brown, he breaks the Drake also. I'm a big fan of Drake, you know, Rihanna also. But I feel like Chris Brown break that stigma as, oh, you're a rapper, you need to rap. Oh, you're a singer, you just need to sing, you know. Chris Brown sings and he raps, and you know, Drake also.
And that's a lot.
I'm in that vibe.
That's a lot like the type of artist you are, because when I was researching, you know, on your YouTube, you could catch this guy on Rum221 on YouTube, right?
Most def. On all social media, you can catch me on Rum221.
On all social media, Rum221. I found some songs of yours. You're not just a rapper. I noticed you got, you know, soca songs like Stop Playing, Abracadabra with Dimitri, right? And then you got the latest one, Wasting My Time, which is a type of zouk vibe. I think on purpose you are being a multi-faceted artist, right?
Most def. Because if you look at St. Martin, where we come from, we open our doors to all different types of nationalities. And if we look at the type of music that we're exposed to, I was raised up on, my mom is from Curacao, my father is from the Dominican Republic, and I was born in St. Martin. So that in itself is a mix-up, we have the Dutch and we have the French side, So if you look at it, we're constantly exposed to different types of music, My mom plays, my mom and my aunt, they always used to play like Papiamentu types of music. My father would then, I wasn't raised like that with my father, but the times that I would be around him, he would play like Spanish music. I have a lot of friends who like dancehall and reggae, and then my cousin, he exposed us to rap. And I was just exposed to like my cousins, my older cousins, with R&B. So I didn't want to put myself, I always have a problem with putting myself in a box. So I just wanted to be that person from St. Martin who could kind of give the next generation hope and inspiration to see like, you could just mix everything that you've learned and put it into something, because at the end of the day, that's still what St. Martin is about. People come from all over the world just to experience what we have, and what we have is a mixing and a melted pot of different cultures, and I feel like that's what we should display and give the world,
For sure, word up, absolutely. I've noticed in a lot of your productions, I've seen two groups pop up, in the credits that come before the song. So that's Don Rich and that's Team Wavy. What do those two groups represent? What are they about?
Okay, so Team Wavy is kind of like a vibe with just like friends. We're from the Caribbean, and if you look at music in itself, everything in life is kind of in a wave. It's up and it's down, and we're from the Caribbean, we're from St. Martin, So I wanted me and some other friends, we kind of like ride our wave just to kind of like have a movement together so that it's just not separated. So we're kind of like, when you have, I think it's like more than 6-7 different artists, when we all come together, we it's kind of like the fish market. Somebody don't want to be saying, oh, fish, I selling grapes. Oh, I selling strawberries, you want to be yelling the same thing. So that's kind of what we do. When we're together, then we rep that one thing, but everything is presented by Don Rich. Now, Don Rich is a combination of two independent groups that join ventures. So back in the days, me and my brother, we started a group called Done Ready Crew. That was DRC. So like anybody who know Dr. Rum from like high school, they know me from being in a group with my brother called DRC, Done Ready Crew. And then I was always a fan of Odyssey growing up when I was small. I got that dirty. I've been a fan of them since I was small, and that's my family also. And we grew such a bond, and they've exposed me to the music scene and elevated me to such a level where I felt the need to go away and study and stuff like that. And after going away to study, I became an asset to that group, and we decided like, okay, you're Done Ready Crew, we're Dirty Records, because Odyssey is Dirty Records. And then we decided like, okay, we have this bond, we make so much music together, we're both an asset for each other. It was just me, my brother, and Done Ready Crew, and then you had Master, Lega, and Danger, who's now Suave, the three of them. Then they was Dirty Records, and we decided to merge. And when we merged, because they were Dirty Records, which was DR, and me and my brother was Done Ready Crew. But my brother's name is Deal, and my name is Rum. So that's where the DR comes from, in Done Ready Crew. And back in the days, it was together with a friend of ours named Chichi. So it was DRC for the three of our names. So we said, let's just merge it and make one click, which was DR. And then we just put a meaning to it, because we say what you put into the universe is what you get back.
Right.
So whatever you call yourself is what people is going to constantly call you, and that's what's going to revolve around you. So we wanted to make it something that we want to bring a positive mind state to ourselves, but to the world, but also give inspiration to the next generation, we was discussing each other, and we was like, you don't really need money to be rich. The knowledge that you have makes you rich, and you don't have to wait until you get the money to be rich. If you think it already, then you are it. So technically we are already rich, and we're from the Caribbean, so we just say, you don't know, and you done means it's like it's already, it's done. So we was like, we done rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we done rich.
Okay, I get it. It all comes full circle for sure.
Yeah. So that's the label. That's what we record on this. So anything I bring out is always Done Rich Presents, and then Hardest on the Rock, Dirty Records. I mean, Done Rich Presents, Team Wavy, Dr. Rum, everything.
Shout out to Don Rich. You mentioned Hardest on the Rock. Now, is that an initiative that you and Dala came up with?
Yeah, so what happened is that there was this big old discussion on Facebook where they were talking about them spitting and who's the best rapper in St. Martin, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This was like in 2018. So then they were saying like, yeah, who you think is the best rapper, the hardest rapper on St. Martin or whatever. And that time I was still living in Holland. And then someone tagged me in the comments. So I only saw that conversation because someone tagged me. And when they tagged me, Dollar said, nah, Rum don't rap no more. He only sings. So I was like, what? Like I still got these bars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not because I don't rap, mean I ain't got these bars, you know? So I was just
Word.
watching the conversation. And then Dollar was saying like, yeah, these producers out here don't support the locals and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that. So I hit him up and I was like, okay, yo, what do you want? You know, because I was in Holland doing my thing. And I was like, okay, this feels like an opportunity where I can support the upcoming, you know, generation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I hit him up and I was like, yo, what do you want? Like what do you want to accomplish with this and stuff, you know? Like, what do you really want to accomplish? And he was like, yeah, we just want a beat and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had a beat that I was working on for a different contact, for an international artist, actually.
Right.
I was working on the beat for that artist. And then I said, like, you know what? I want to contribute in a major way to my island. So I was like, you know what? I could just give this to them. So I was working on the concept. So I sent Dollar the concept and I was like, tell me what you think about this beat. And then, you know, and then I can tweak it and then, you know, give it to you guys and then you can do something on it. And then I sent it to him the evening. And when I woke up the next morning, I saw that he had already used it and put it on Facebook.
Oh.
So I was like, oh gosh, the beat is not even finished. What is he doing? Then his video went viral, you know, like a lot of people was digging it. And then another one, somebody else did it and somebody else did it. And then
so
before I knew it, everyone
on its own, in a way.
Yeah, everyone, but he initiated it. You know. And then everyone started asking me for the beat and asking him for the beat. So I was like, yo, it's already rolling, you know. So
yeah,
I'll just send out the beat. So I just sent it out, and then I just saw like more and more people doing it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now it's a good time to show these boys them I still got these bars though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it just became something, and then I realized at that moment that we could either just let it be another challenge, or we could take this to a next level.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I flew to St. Martin. I did an award show, and I told Dollar like, yo, this is something that I think we can do annually, you know. So then trying to do it again in 2019. So 2019 I did the award show.
Yeah.
Gave out awards and gave out prizes and stuff like that. But then we didn't do a Hardest on the Rock challenge in 2019. Then in 2020 I sent Dollar a beat, and he wasn't really, no, I think it was 2019. I sent him a beat, but he wasn't feeling it. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I'm a perfectionist, you know, so it was kind of like clashing with my creativity. And then in 2020 for Corona, I was like, yo, Corona going on. I think this is the best time to kind of
during the
Hardest on the Rock again, though.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the right time to do this again, you know. And then I was like, yo, you know what? I just not really gonna holla at Dollar. I just gonna put this thing together with just a vibe and then see what he thinks. And I was like, should I? And then after I was like, yeah, I'll still let him, I'll still see what he thinks. But if he says no, I'm still going to put it out, you know?
Yeah.
So then I called him and did a whole live thing. And then we did the second edition in 2020. And then hopefully next year we can do another edition. But I'm trying to see if I can do another award show. But with the whole Corona vibes, it's making it a little difficult.
It's difficult. It's difficult for all of us.
Yeah, but I most definitely want to make Hardest on the Rock a platform for any artist that is new and want to come out, you know. So Hardest on the Rock is not only gonna, it started from a hip hop scene, but if you know all the elements of hip hop is dance, rap, DJing, and of course MCing, you know. Those are the 4 elements of hip hop, you know. So I want to keep it in that vibes. So eventually I'm gonna come up with a dance Hardest on the Rock. I'm gonna try maybe come up with a singing Hardest on the Rock and just make Hardest on the Rock a platform, you know?
Word. Sounds good. Because that was my next question. What would your future projects look like? But that definitely seems like a venture on the horizon to give back to the island.
Most definitely. That belongs to us. That's our baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's St. Martin's baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, my brother. In the last few minutes that we have, I wanted to ask about your Voice of Holland experience. Because from an outside perspective, you know, for us, you was making waves, right? But I want to hear from you the artist. Like, what did you think about it? Did you get what you wanted out of it? You know, go for it.
The Voice of Holland was, I'll tell you guys honestly, I was raised on a Christian background. I'm more Seventh-day Adventist, you know, so I really do believe. I'm a believer, let me just put it like that.
Yeah.
So with that is concerned, that was a gift from God. The Voice was a gift from God. Because I got the offer a couple times in the beginning and I didn't want to do it. I was like, yo, me no singer. He's a rapper, dog. You know what I mean? You know, but it kept coming on my path. Yeah. And I'll tell you honestly, the Voice was the best thing that could have ever happened to me as an artist, you know. That helped me to realize what it takes to be an artist, what that lifestyle is really and truly about, the ugliness behind it, the everything behind it, you know. But that was the best thing that could have happened to me, you know. That just put me on a different level, you know. And for me, we say in Dutch, it was geslaagd, you know. It was a success because I went there when I decided that I was finally gonna do the Voice. It was only under the circumstances that I would go there and give them the best blind audition that they would ever see. The best blind audition that they have ever experienced.
That thing is 24 million views up, big man.
It's 24 now? I didn't know it was 24. Last time I knew it was like 20 million, you know?
24.
And now it's 24 million views, you know, 24 million views later. And that has become my CV. I no longer have to say like, oh yeah, I do this, I do that. It's like, yo, check me out as Dr. Rum. Go check me on YouTube, you know, and I'm still that person. But I've used that situation to now propel next artists and put them on, you know. So for me, from the moment I did the blind audition, my goal was already geslaagd. I already reached my goal. And then I just continued to go on to the half of finals, you know. We were on like five or six live shows. We were the last 4 or 5 in the show, if I'm not mistaken, out of like 200-300 people who did auditions. You know what I mean? In a country that is 16 million people. You understand? And rap. I was the first ever rapper
on the show.
Any voice. On any voice. Any voice. Voice of America, Voice England, China. I was the first ever rapper in any voice. You know, and that for me was like, I love that I could have represented St. Martin on that, because I didn't just represent myself. Because anybody who saw the real Eighth ending, they would see how I spoke about St. Martin. I spoke about my religion, because I even prayed before I went on stage and stuff like that, you know. So I really represented for the island. That was the best experience ever. I ain't even know what more to say. Like, that was a blessing in its own, you know.
All right, bro. Dr. Rum, I want to ask you so much more, but unfortunately that's all the time we have. Maybe maybe we can get you on the next episode in the future. Yeah,
we can definitely do a part 2, you know what I mean? Maybe this time in person, I guess, after the whole Corona vibes. You know, we can go a little more depth into, I don't know, we have a little sit down one-on-one conversation. I can ask you some questions.
For sure, I'd love that. But thank you very much for joining us on the Sitting Down with Stov show. I appreciate it.
Most definitely, and it's my pleasure to be on your show. You know, that you actually reached out to me and have me on the show, you know what I mean? So shout out to you for what you're doing and keep up the good work, and I really appreciate that, and keep it going, you know. Success, Rome wasn't made in one day, you know. Success don't come in one day, you know. So Absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing, and don't lose the focus, you know. Keep the focus. Shout out to everybody, shout out to all all my St. Martiners. Shout out to Dunridge. Shout out to Dollar. Shout out to my moms. Mama, we finally on TV.
Mama.
We made it.
All right, blessings, bro. See y'all for the next time.
No. Peace.
Oh boy.